Asgard has fallen. Ragnarok has come, and the mighty hammer Mjolnir is moving ever closer. The hammer seeks a new master, this one in the form of a golden falcon tugging at the star. Born of the wasteland, a scrapper now burdened with the mighty hammer, Star must survive insurmountable odds. She must rise to the challenge and take her rightful place among the old gods. Loki, the gritting god, and his loyal acolytes will raise Valhalla to gain the power of Asgard's most powerful artifact. And hell awaits.
Hello and welcome to Doodle and Chill. And today we have with us the creator of the Hammer.
Howdy, howdy. How is everyone?
I'm doing great. And we got with us Michael the Beacon.
Hello.
Hey, Michael. How are you today?
I'm doing
And,
good.
and today's
Nice.
co-host is Ace. How's it going, Ace?
He
you're
looks
still muted, bro.
muted. Yeah.
Let's try this again.
Nice.
Yeah.
So hi,
So
Ace.
yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to this little discussion. It's the first time I've actually seen that trailer. I've been a little behind on my project, so it's good to be introduced to a new ones.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's a
wow.
great looking one too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just goes to say that you could be in CG for all long and know a lot of people. There's still project that goes under your nose.
Oh,
So now it's in demand at $10,219 with 151 backer.
Right. It absolutely is. And I'm super proud that I was able to do this, fund first time out of the gate. And I think I have a really nice property, and I write and draw and ink the majority of the book. There are some contributions in the form of pinups by other artists, and a 6-page story done by Jason Gonzalez of La Mano del Destino, the Hand of Destiny. It's a luchador comic book that went live on Kickstarter like 2 days ago. He helps me do a 6-page like cosmic story that also goes with my overall post Ragnarok Mad Max thing going on. So there's 2 things going on, but I do the majority of the art that you're looking at now. It's all penciled and inked by me.
And it looks amazing. Like right now, I'm going through all the images because as soon as I'm done, I'm starting to draw. But the art looks amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's literally Thor set in Mad Max type time, and society has fallen. Ragnarok is happening, and the artifacts of Asgard have begun to rain down on Midgard, and humans are picking them up and gaining favor from the gods, or what's left of the gods. And I felt it was a really strong story. I kind of pumped it a little bit on Facebook and a couple other places, and then I launched it. And I'm really surprised, as I said. So I'm pleasantly surprised. All backers actually on this book get so much stuff. They get a Mark Beecham piece. They get a Joe Weems pinup. They get a embroidered patch of the logo for the book for their jacket. They also get the 11 by 17 Benitez color poster. Comes with every order, and because we got to our stretch goal, and I'm just really proud of it. I'm really happy, and everybody who essentially backs at whatever level gets a ton of stuff with their orders. So if you missed it, go back it, and I will take care of you. So I'll take care of you well.
So, while I start drawing, and we'll go see what Beacon is drawing right there.
Okay.
I'm sure you have a nice, swift little pitch to convince the people to go back it. One last little thing, go back it now.
Yeah, I guess go back it now, because in about a month I'm going to be shutting it down and starting to fulfill everything. So
they have about a month.
They have about a month until I fulfill everything, or start printing at least the books and start fulfilling the larger statues and stuff like that. And then once I get them back from the printer, it all goes out to everyone else, and then I get to start number 2, and I'll re-offer number 1 with a different cover, but you won't get, the stuff that you're going to get on this campaign. It'll be different. So go back it for the exclusiveness. Go back it, because I'm going to sell it to some major company and make a fucking ton of money on it, and make a bunch of shows and movies and have a good time. And then find me dead of a drug overdose somewhere.
Isn't it the dream?
Yep.
So, she has a hammer and a sword.
She does.
Yep.
She started with the sword, so she finds the hammer after, and eventually the sword, kind of goes away once she becomes cosmic. She no longer needs it.
This is the one I'll be doing.
Yes, you are working on a star piece. You are. Nice.
The last time I did the little quick sketch. No, let's
Yeah.
finish it. It was in the morning roast, right? I started it.
It was early. I don't remember. Probably was. So I'm actually doing commissions for. Well, not commissions. I'm doing concept design work while we talk right now for a gentleman who needed some help, and so I'm doing that stuff.
An upcoming project or something different?
It's somebody else's project, so I'm literally just conceptualizing some of their ideas to kind of help them find artists to do what they want to do, or what he wants them to do, and then be able to give them good reference and such, so that they can move forward on the project. So it's I could probably show a flash of it. He probably wouldn't care. So if you want to
Hold on.
see it.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
So it's a big old Gurkha in his hand. So Funky Monkey is the gentleman who's having me do this stuff for him. And if he's watching, he should know that I'm doing it, doing the work. I'm working, pecking away. I'll get you some stuff in the next day or so.
Right.
Anyways, so I'm working on that.
Yeah, just want to say hi to the chat. Chris is in the house. Hail.
Hey, Chris.
Lothar D's in the house. Hail.
Hey.
And El Gargoyle's in the house.
What's
Saying the hardest working poutine in Canada.
Yeah, hail from West by God to Chris.
Yeah, so please like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know on Twitter that we're here hanging out talking about this very cool looking project.
Yeah,
you got a month. You're on the deadline already. You got a month to back this.
Yep.
Yeah, about a month. I may not let it go way beyond that, because what's the purpose of that? Like, what makes it exclusive at that point? And people people may want exclusivity. I mean, I suppose as long as I got orders, I could drag it out forever, right?
Yeah.
And
Let them crave for it. Especially in the second campaign. When they find out that they missed out on the first one, they'll cook themselves, and then they'll back it at a higher tier in the second campaign.
right. That could always be the case too, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
So,
why that's why we always say overprint is important.
Yeah, I've done that with. It's been a couple of projects I kind of missed the time on, and then normally what I would do instead of just pack like the basic tier, I had to go back and back both books. So right there, you're getting me to spend more. You're getting a bigger number for your campaign, and you're also selling more books. So win-win for everybody.
win-win.
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner. Absolutely. So yes, back my book. Back the ridiculousness of me. I'm going to airbrush, so hopefully you guys won't be hearing it too
It
terribly.
doesn't matter. Let's go. That's the point of this. We're doodling and chilling.
I sometimes have to do stuff. Come on, you bastard. There we go. It sucks, man. Sometimes you don't clean your airbrush well enough and it gets all gunked up, and then you have to make sure to clean your tools, buddy. Clean your tool. Clean your stuff.
That's one of the reasons why I opted to work more digital for faster production and cost a bit. But I do miss it. Like right now, I'm actually like starting rebuying supplies, like pen, ink, and stuff, because I want to do more traditional. I miss it.
Right. Plus, when I do digital stuff, it's like stuff that I want to be able to eventually do physically. So if it's something I got to kind of learn and then teach myself afterwards how to ink like that or something, that's kind of cool too. I like using it as a tool.
Yep.
More than a crutch, So
that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an extra tool in your tool set as an artist. It's not supposed to be replacing or being a crutch, like using pictures to draw or all that type of shit. It's supposed to be an extra tool, like an extra brush. It's just that it's digital. So you get, you have the undo, you have the safe net. You're working on layers. It's like before they used to work on acetate instead of layers, and it's a lot more costly.
Yes, it is. I agree. So I think as a tool it works wonderfully. So I literally do everything in Photoshop, and I've enjoyed the program for many, many years. And sorry if my voice gets all drony when I'm working. I sound like I'm kind of like not paying attention, but I really am.
Just us. We know this.
Yeah,
Right.
droning.
Hey, so I did want to ask, the design of the hammer, is it based on anything in particular or just your own ideas?
It's based on a real Warhammer. So as opposed to kind of like doing what Marvel did and having a big old giant brick with a little tiny handle attached to it, I wanted to kind of make it look like a real Viking could use a Warhammer. And it was kind of silly seeing her run around, because I started drawing her and sculpting her well before I knew what she was. And I had kind of given her this hammer in her hand, but I made it look like Thor's originally. And it kind of looked weird to me. Like, maybe it was too much like Thor, and that kind of bothered me. And I wanted to kind of set out to change it a little. Like, I don't have to make it infinitely heavy. I could just make it so that it shocks the crap out of anybody who doesn't want to hold it, right? And if you're a god, all of its power comes from Odin, the hammer. And Odin is like the cosmic all-father. He pretty much is end-all to be-all. So That being said, if the power of the hammer derives from Odin, and Odin would have to let you pick it up. So there are instances where that would never happen. So even in Odin's sleep, Odin won't allow you to pick the hammer up if you're evil and he doesn't want you to. So that's what I've been kind of doing. It didn't matter to me the actual size of the hammer as long as it could be functional.
That's cool.
It's just different. I don't think it really makes it unique. Like how much
Look, put it
force-
this way, man.
What?
Never shortchange yourself. Two,
Mhm.
it made me ask you a question just by looking at it. So right away you drew the interest.
Well, that's good though. I guess that's kind of what I wanted to do with the logo. Like I didn't want the logo to be totally legible, because I want it to be kind of like a branding thing. Like when you see that logo now, you'll know it's me. Like nobody else does that. Nobody else, unless you're a metal band or something, some weird like death metal band that looks like cross sticks or something, for a logo. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing with my logo because I saw it as a way of branding stuff. Like,
Mhm.
why should I placate to the idea that everybody should be able to read my logo from across the room when it's so unique? They might just go up to it and pick it up because they can't read the logo, and then once they do, they'll realize that it's probably one of the better drawn books around, because that's what I focused on. I totally focused on the art of this book. Like it's everything I have to give.
Yeah, man, it shows us. Looking at some more of these pages, that's a really cool detail. It's definitely not the same typical art you see a lot. Definitely stands out.
Yeah, the rendering is different. So that's what I think is cool. Like I didn't know how I wanted to ink it when I started inking it. And then I think I fumbled into it where I just kind of went, oh, this is starting to have like, at one point I thought to myself, this has a Sam Keith quality to it, but all the characters are drawn perfectly and anatomically correct as opposed to all cartoony like he would. Like it has that type of splattery ink quality to it. But it's tight and it's clean to some extent. Anyways, that's what I thought. I don't know who to compare it to. I don't know if I don't know if it sits in the realm of where I came from originally, because I used to be a Tim Vigil clone years and years and years ago when I started in the industry, and then I was a Dave Finch clone.
Yeah, I can definitely see some of the Dave Finch.
Yeah, some shadowy Finchy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like Finch's rendering anymore. Like it seems like everything is rendered in stone to me, and I don't like that type of rendering. I like things to be varied and different, and like long bleed lines are like a sign of the 90s, which wasn't bad time in comics, but it definitely lended itself to a different type of style and atmosphere, and superhero comics are great for that, but I'm drawing a really dirty comic, and Rob Liefeld lines wouldn't make my comic book cool. Or even Scott Williams, you know, the long bleeds and the weird hatches. It needed to be as gritty as the story was. Kind of. Does that make sense? Or am I just
Yeah.
fucking rambling?
No, it makes sense.
Anyways, been drawing a long time, so I go through different types of phases when I draw, and sometimes you want to emulate people.
Sometimes you have to change it up to stay inspired in a way.
Sure, absolutely. So nice. What are you drawing, sir? You drawing me some hammer too? Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a nice piece.
I'm more of a colorist, but sort of learning line art.
Cool, man. Thank you. I enjoy it. Wow, it looks cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Beacon is getting ready to start challenging some guys as far as his pencils go. You better not sleep on them.
Yeah.
First he's
Better
taking
watch
the
it.
colors. Now he's about to go after the pencilers out there. Watch out.
Yeah. His artists better step up their game, you know?
Yeah, no, I've seen some of his pieces on here the past couple of weeks, man. I was like, Beacon, we're gonna have to talk about my project.
So I did this for somebody recently. I'm still inking it up. But
Hold on. No, done.
Yeah.
Let me go on it. Boom.
Ooh.
Sweet.
so I still need to finish it up and kind of see what's up with it. This is a lot of brush mixed with some like rapidograph pen and brushy stuff, and then I'll splatter the crap out of it. That's what I usually do. Little Dragar there. Little Dragar. You could actually purchase my actual sculptures that I make for all my reference on my Indiegogo campaign. So and
I was gonna ask you about the little Loki
oh yes,
little statue heads, whatever you would technically call them.
So it is a statue with a base. Let me get it for you. Hold on.
Did you see all the statues in the back?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a Freddy Krueger up there, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, we are back. So this is what you get. You actually get a sculpture with a base, and it's 4 pieces actually. So it'll be horns, head, base. It separates from it. You'll be able to set it right into it.
Nice.
And the head of Loki. So they're very limited. I use these for reference for when I draw. You think it looks like a skull, which it does. It has a skull shape to it, but the way that filigree lays over that face, it gives the idea that there's eyes there, but they're not. Like the ocular cavities have been filled out a bit, and the filigree is really hard to draw. So I had to sculpt it just so that the shadows are right when I actually ink him and draw him. He's technically the most complicated character to draw right now, which doesn't seem like it, but he is.
Oh, nice, and you can get that in the Bring Me the Head of Loki tier for $80.
You sure can, and they're limited, so I mean, you should go get those.
15 of 30 are already gone, so
yeah.
That's a good deal. You get a couple comics plus the base. That's dope.
Yeah, that's my featured tier. If I were to have a featured tier, that would be it right there. Absolutely. So, yeah, I sculpt a lot of my own reference. I do all of that, and I need to because as an artist, drawing two-dimensionally is really hard, and there's some people who can really do it well, and I can do it okay, but I realized once I could sculpt that I can make better reference, and I can do all that now, and that worked out for me.
That's really cool. Here's the big question, man.
Huh.
Would you consider doing a sculpt for another campaign?
I would, and I've been asked by a couple different people to do some stuff for them. I only do stuff like under contract, kind of, because I've been burned before,
Yep.
and I don't want stuff falling through. Like, I don't want to be put into the fan art into the pool. Like, if somebody asks me to do something for them, like create a master for them, sculpture and a master, so that they can produce more, or ask me to produce more. I like to do it all on the book. So why? What do you have in mind, my friend?
Oh no, I'm just thinking. The Ace head sculpt will look pretty sweet as one of those.
They could, like, there's lots of interesting ways of doing things. I usually start at about $1,000 for a single sculpt, and that gets you a master. And then if we make multiple copies, we have to, account for the molds, account for the resin, and then do it from there. And if you want to paint them, that's another step, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, this can get pretty expensive relatively quickly, and you have to essentially put a price tag on them that will accommodate everything, right? So I recently quoted somebody like what I usually do, and it's $1,000 for the sculpt master, and that's at least 2 months to go do everything and make sure everybody's happy. It could be faster. Like if I sculpt it really fast and you're happy with it, we could just go ahead and mold it, and that could take, a week or two and all. But if you're unhappy and we have to overwork something or change stuff or do whatever, I give it that time to make changes. And then I make you a beautiful master from a mold, and I clean it up real nice and sand it so that it's perfect. And then we make master molds from that and or copies of that. And it, sometimes could depend on how complicated the character is, how different the molds have to be. Like, I can make matrix molds, which are like 3-part molds. So it just depends, man. So if you're willing to, spend the money, of course, I would have to make the time to do it.
Oh man, that's awesome. Like I said, all you guys with campaigns out there, might be something to think about. It's definitely unique and it stands out, and I think it would be benefit, depending on how, depending obviously if you have like the funds, and depending how other campaigns have done, a lot of things go into it. But that's definitely something, I would look at if I had like a successful campaign. I might be hitting you up.
Very good. Yeah, these things are always possible. As far as my like Dragar go, the one-off Dragars, those are epoxy clay, Sculpey, and plastic like toy parts that I've kept over the years and just kit bash stuff together with. And that stuff doesn't take me a lot to produce it, right? Like, it's one of those things where I just kind of make a generic body and I start gluing stuff to it till it looks right to me. And then I primer the whole thing a single color like gray, and will really give me this idea that, oh, this is a robot now, and then I can paint it to adjust it. But that's not like sculpting a whole piece where I can, I'm gluing shit to this stuff. So a Dragar may cost me like $10 to make one, whereas something like my molds and stuff for the head of Loki, is going to cost me like a couple $100 to just get all the silicon, do all the time, make all the boxes, fucking. Anyways, you get it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I used to do cosplay, and I looked into that, like into doing that level of stuff, and it was just like I saw the price tags and like, fuck this. Nope.
No, dude, that's what I did. Like in the first campaign of Bloodhunt, I was working on this on a bus for Vincent.
Yeah.
Just the amount of sculpey, and then you're working on it, the hours, and this you're like, dude. Like he says, like a prototype, like the master, like when you somebody usually hires you for a sculpt, that starts at $1,000. Like anybody that you go around for modeling, it starts at $1,000 because it takes at least like a week, 2 weeks, sometimes 2 months. It depends on the sculpt, and it depends also, like he says, sometimes it goes faster because you're inspired on that moment. Go figure. That's how we work. Sometimes we get a fucking gift from anywhere and it goes, hey, you're inspired. You hit that one out in the day. Like what?
Right. Like some pieces I can do relatively quickly, art wise and sculpt wise, and just have them out to the customer. And they're always like, "Jesus, man, can't you take like a week longer?" And I'm like, "No. I was inspired. It was done. Pay me. We're done. We're good." So it gets that way. Sometimes I get inspired, and sometimes sculpts can just pour out of me. Like I could do one over a weekend and it could be ready for molding and everything by the end of the weekend. But in other cases, like here's a good example. I sculpted 3 things for Tim Vigil. I sculpted a Faust bust, I sculpted a M bust, and I sculpted a Claire bust. Okay. The Faust bust and the M bust, like I did M in like 8 hours. I did Faust in like 12. It took me like, I don't know, 100 hours to do Claire. Because, oh my God, her face had to be perfect, right? There was nothing you could do. And a woman's face is so hard to do. Those planes and stuff on a woman's face to make them proper. Anyways, it took me forever. And it just is the name of that game, man. Like I could blam out 2 full-size sculptures for this guy in, over a weekend, yet it took me like nearly a week and a half to do Claire, right? Mm-hmm. And that's working hours upon hours with it. And I had to step away at some point and just kind of be like, hey, I need better reference. I need to sit down and, get a photograph of a woman, start looking at the planes of the face, and it can be different. It can take me 4 times as long to sculpt a woman as it is a man. For sure. 100% of the time. It's weird. It just is. It's how it works, man. So I have a General Zod I did back in the day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. When Michael, what his name? Shannon played him. That was pretty cool. Let me go see if I can find it. I think it's right over here. Hold on. I'll be back.
So here's Beacon's piece while we wait.
All right.
Okay. I'm back. So this is epoxy clay and Sculpey.
Mm-hmm.
My General Zod. Oh, Michael Shannon action.
That's awesome.
See if it'll focus. Focus, bastard.
Oh, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've seen it
sorry.
too,
Anyways, I enjoyed doing him. This is when I first started sculpting. I've always been able to do likenesses, like draw likenesses of people pretty well. Like, especially if there's reference. If I have photos, I could definitely draw anybody. But with sculpting, it's a little different. And it helps to have those like side view and a front view for sure. And they all should be level, right? And usually if you hit the profile of the person, you can hit their forward, right? Their picture. And in this case, I think I worked a bunch on his profile. He has a really interesting chin, as you can see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all bulbousy. And those pierced lips of his, like, and of course his brow is very Cro-Magnon-y. And I had to kind of hit on that. And he has a few moles on his face, like on both sides, separate. There's a mole over here. I don't know if you can see it. Doesn't matter. Anyways, I do weird stuff every once in a while. I really loved that Superman movie.
Me too.
yeah. Man, that steel's great.
I thought it was awesome.
A lot of people hate it, but we love it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not into that. It's okay to like. I really liked fucking Thor when it came out, even though it was goofy as fuck, and Kenneth Branagh had done it and stuff. A serious Shakespearean actor actually directed Thor, and that to me was the best part of it. The fact that he knew to lend it that really dry humor, to play it out as a love story-esque type of thing, and yeah, it fit all the punctuation marks for it, and stuffed him into that goofy suit and made it look cool. Like, Thor's costume is the goofiest costume ever.
Oh yeah, the big fucking puffy cape back in the
Uh-huh.
days.
The
Big-
giant knee pads. Those
Yep.
giant knee pads. Oh my god.
Like, nobody could walk with this shit.
How about Walt Simonson, man? Like, practically all he had to do was draw those giant knee pads on, like, and it would cover up the whole upper thigh. It was so weird. And then let's say you had two of them, like Billy Bob Ray or whatever that thing is.
Beta Ray
Uncle
Beta
Horse.
Ray Bill. There we go. Beta Ray Bill. You get two of them in there with those puffy things, man. It's on. It's like they're going to start break dancing or something. Those things are gnarly. Not into that weird design. I know Kirby kind of is responsible for that shit, but I think it got taken too far. It can get taken too far. More cowbell sometimes is not the answer.
True.
Cowbell. More cowbell.
I'm doing
So
good.
does anybody know how to do any weird impressions?
Thought I would be more behind by now. A weird impression.
I
Yeah,
suppose
like-
I can do a decent Skeletor.
A Skeletor?
Yes.
Well, we call him SJW Skeletor here.
Yeah, I used to do a video series called SJW Skeletor. It review Comicsgate projects. Yeah, as a SJW Skeletor. So
That's unreal. I didn't know that existed.
it's been a while since I've done one. A lot of the people who I did their reviews for, they wound up sort of losing it, kind of. So it's
Why?
like, I don't know. It's like it wasn't related to my project, but it's like it was just sort of like a weird sort of coincidence that like the majority of the people whose books I did a review of wound up just like for one reason or another just leaving Comicsgate and just becoming really weird anti-Comicsgate.
Oh, because of SJW Skeletor?
No,
I
just
mean-
like just various things. Like it just sort of like, oh, and also I got busy doing my campaign, but yeah, it's like, yeah, it just sort of like weird. It weirded me out for a good bit.
That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't weird you out. That's weird. That's a weird coincidence type of
Yeah.
thing. Like, I don't. That's weird. Okay.
But I'll probably start doing some again soon. It's just
I keep telling him to. He doesn't. So maybe if more people keep telling him to do it, maybe he'll do it. So people, stop sending him DMs or do
Yes.
a hashtag bring back HJW Skeletor.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked for the Snyder cut, so let's do it for
Let's
SJW
do it for the
Skeletor.
SJW Skeletor. Absolutely. I think that's a winner chicken dinner right there.
Yep.
So that's a good one. I think. Oh shit! Like I'm not comfortable enough doing half my impressions because I start laughing in the middle of it, and my mouth all like gets all tight, and I can't do it.
Yep. Same here.
And it just gets all weird. But around my kids, I used to be able to cuss like Elmo or talk like Elmo, but I would cuss, and they'd be like, "Talk like Elmo, talk like Elmo." So hold on, let's see if I can pull the mic away and do it because it's loud. It's like,
Hello, my name is Elmo. And today, our magic word is cocksucker. Cocksucker, motherfucker.
anyways, I can Elmo.
And it kind of gets weird sometimes. Elmo, it's all crazy. And wants all the meth. Ah!
So I used to do Elmo voice, and I could do a bit of Kermit the Frog, which is typical. Like people should be able to go, Kermit the Frog here, or Miss Piggy. I love you, Piggy.
That's pretty good.
And then let's see, I used to be able to do a Jimmy Stewart impression. So it's Jimmy Stewart here. I'm so old that I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Me and Jimmy Stewart down by the river. Is that close? No? It was terrible.
Honestly,
In the beginning, you sounded like
I
In the beginning,
like-
you sounded like Connery.
Sean Connery. Like,
Yeah, in the
you
beginning,
pull a
yeah.
knife, I pull a gun. That's the Chicago way. Which kind of sounds like Nixon. Like, you dirty crook. Like, yeah.
Are they the same person?
No. Sean Connery's a pimp. And Richard Nixon was a fucking weasel. So, total difference in the world.
Let's see. I can sometimes do Mickey Mouse.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I can.
China wants us to swab their knobs, so let's get going, boys and girls.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's go do meth, boys and girls. No, let's not do that. The drugs are bad. Drugs are bad, Mickey. Drugs are bad.
What was that quote? I remember.
Goofy, when I die, I want you to be my pallbearer, so you can let me down one last time.
Nice. That's amazing. That's a good one. I like that one too. Nice. Nice piece, Michael.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I just bought the entire collection of Walt Simonson Thor not too long ago.
Did you?
Yep.
Are you gonna send it to me?
Nope.
Oh, you should. You should send it to me. Like, I'm sorry about that, but you should. Oh man. Yeah. At some point, I'm gonna. Once I do a couple campaigns, I'll make like a little wish list or something when I have
The-
some extra money.
But there's a nice omnibus. It's not that expensive.
Nice. I'll make myself a nice little wish list of things I should like have, and I'll do that. So I just I want to hurry up and get through this and kind of fulfill it and gain everybody's trust and make everybody like happy and want more, and then I want to fucking crush it, rain down thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at with things right now, and I want to sell my publisher's comic too, La Mano del Destino. So if you haven't checked out La Mano del Destino on Kickstarter, you should. And it's literally 6 issues done in English and Spanish. It's a flip book, which, you know, Sim, check that shit out.
Mhm.
And it's done in Kirby style, and it's all luchador stuff. And it originally began life as a luchador spawn for Todd McFarlane, but my friend ended up leaving McFarlane and changed it to his La Mano del Destino stuff. So it originally was supposed to be a Spawn story. So you should check it out. It's like 400 pages for like $35 or something like that. And he's delivering it in December, man. It's already done. Everything's out there. You can pick it up. It's cheap. It's good quality, printed the way he wants it printed. His colors are always so fucking cool and crazy and bright and wonderful and Kirby-esque, and I love it. So I, go buy that stuff too. Enjoy that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And I'm almost done.
Nice.
Sweet.
I just want to shout out Art of Reed saying hey.
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 Howdy, Reed. Oh goodness.
Yeah, what I've seen of your project seems pretty interesting, like a reimagining of Norse mythology, sort of like combining it with like post-apocalyptic. Cool concept.
Where did that passion for more Norse mythology come from?
So I've always kind of liked Thor, like as a comic for some reason. I've been drawn to its goofiness, and I've been a big fan of like Shakespearean stuff, so it kind of lent itself to that type of idea for me. And then I just started picking up like stories here and there. Like I started reading, stuff Neil Gaiman wrote about it. And then I picked up like all the mythologies that I could find and started reading those. And they were just so interesting. And Marvel had done a lot of them also. Like they really dove into that whole mythology also and have told those stories before also. So I very much am just fond of the idea that the world is created from a giant and that it's like we're looking at his brains. The brains are like the clouds in the sky. Like, this is all part of Nordic mythology, and that stuff was kind of cool to me and weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It seems kind of gross and terrible,
Yeah.
right? But it kind of is it's as plausible to me as the other shit that we've been handed. So I kind of run with it, kind of. And I liked the idea of creating a world that had an element of God to it that I could explore. I think, I could still tell the same story, even if I changed religions or mythologies, right? I could make it any religion, really, with just a few twists and tweaks, right?
Yeah.
I chose Nordic mythology because it literally is the grittiest of it, and I like the idea that they were all like kind of Viking warriors and big old huge, half giants, and they just have cool mythology. I like it. Um, and of course, a lot of Christianity and some of the actual rituals and stuff that we do are, or holidays, sorry, were once pagan rituals that were, created by Vikings and other peoples. So, maybe I can do like a little twist on stuff and still be still kind of lay the foundation of having something that still fits within that idea, still fits within the. I'm not straying away from it. I'm not trying to rewrite Nordic mythology. I'm just throwing Nordic mythology at a bad situation. Right? So that's kind of where I get that from. But I haven't been into Nordic mythology my whole life. I am German. But it's not like my parents were teaching me Thor's Day and stuff like that. It just kind of came later in life when I realized that I
would have
liked
been awesome to be raised on Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah.
Thursdays. I would have been like, yes, it's Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Take this hammer and whack somebody with it.
Right. No, they just had such a rich idea of things. Now, I looked up the other day like a Viking funeral, and there's literally only one written account of a person who viewed a real Viking funeral, and it was a Muslim man from many like 1,500 years ago, and he wrote it down. Okay, so he was Arab at the time, and he, of course, at that time they bathed every day. They washed their hands, they washed their feet, they did all that stuff. But when he went and met these Vikings, like the Vikings ate their boogers and they just were dirty, like giant beings to him. And the thing that stood out to them is that they all had blonde hair, which they bleached. A lot of them did, because they felt that was the most beautiful color of hair to have. But they were all covered in blue tattoos, where they had tattooed themselves with symbols all over them, and they were huge and beautiful and just rippling. And it was everything that was different in his culture, right? Because people in that part of the world, I guess, were shorter and were skinnier and smaller. They were desert people, whereas these Vikings were totally different. And then they went, and I guess one of the major chieftains had died, and they were going to give him a funeral. So the first thing they ask is for a person to guide them into Valhalla. So usually somebody has to forfeit their life for this chieftain. And then they get her real drunk, and then she goes house to house from the village, and they sacrificially rape her. And then they slaughter over the next 10 days cows, chickens, and whatever manner of animal they can come across. They load it all into a boat. They take the chieftain, which they had put under the ground for those 10 days, just under the surface, dig him up, put him on the boat, light the boat up, and in about an hour, everybody's gone and dead, and it's done, right? That is a Viking funeral.
Damn.
That's crazy as fuck, okay? And that's an extreme Viking funeral, right? Think of it, it was a funeral for a king. So not a Viking funeral for like a warrior. It was a king. So somebody had to sacrifice their own life to guide him to Valhalla. That was crazy. The idea that this person now has to go take it from the team in the name of this dead chieftain so that they can help him through to Valhalla, that's weird to me too. Like, how am I supposed to write a story in a comic book about a Viking funeral? There's all this raping going on. It's not okay. So it was so weird when I had heard about it. So I looked into it a little more and found that literally that is the only firsthand account of a Viking funeral, because everything in the Viking culture was handed down verbally. So, hell. What the hell?
And that transitions me perfectly to if you want to see some account, some sort of Hollywoodized version of that, you can check out the amazing movie 13th Warrior.
Right. That movie is based upon that idea. That is correct. The Antonio Banderas, right? 13 Warriors.
Amazing. Absolutely. Not too many people have seen it. I might just do a special watch along stream on my channel just to like show it to people, because I absolutely love it. There was a point
because I made the mistake of saying that I didn't see it.
The movie. I could quote you the movie at one point in my life. I could literally, like, the movie would be playing, I'd be telling you every line. It's
a great movie.
Yeah,
it is. And he learned their language, and all that stuff. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, has a brotherhood. It's action. It's got a little bit of romance. It's just a very cool look into like these two different cultures, kind of. The barriers being broken down and people basically finding out what they're made of through the midst of battle. It could be basically like a war movie, really. Except it just takes place during that time. It's really well done. I keep hearing that there's a lot of footage left on the cutting room floor, and I keep hoping somebody one day will go and find the full cut of it, and we'll have like a real 3-hour version, like it deserves.
Did they left the rapey part out?
Yeah.
So I thought they did. So that's just like, I always thought
they did not sacrifice the girl live. They burned her with the thing.
They did do that. You're right. Shit. You're right. They implied certain things, like they for sure. No, it's that stuff's crazy. So Viking culture was very brutal. So was the Mayans. So were the Incas. There's something interesting about the brutality of their lives. They're almost like samurais in a weird way. Like, except they're their own thing, right? Like, samurais are the most deadliest warriors. We can agree that they're some of the deadliest warriors ever to have been born on the planet. And they did some horrific things, man. They beheaded people quite a bit.
They would test their swords on prisoners.
Right, exactly. So there's something interesting about how violent a society is in comparison to how civilized they are outwardly. Like, Vikings were known for some of their politeness, which is funny because they killed people violently with giant axes. That shit's crazy to me. That they can be sweet and they can be killing machines.
Yeah, it's kind of like very much describes people. You know, every civilization throughout time has had a lot of violent stuff they've done that a lot of people don't really
Think about it.
talk about. Really, but that's the
Right.
reality. Like you can't hide from things. You can't sugarcoat it. It is what it is. And hopefully, you
That's
learn as
right.
civilization goes on to kind of be better than that.
In the
But
long
it was
run,
always
hopefully.
interesting looking back on it. Looking back at all these different civilizations and all these different things over the years.
Yeah, for as capably violent they were also capably smart and well versed. Also, like some Vikings spoke Latin. Uh, there's definitely some interesting stuff that goes into the whole idea that the more violent a civilization is, the more potential they have for greatness and in the long run. And yeah, yeah. Anyways, weird. That's a weird thought process too. Sorry.
All right. Just want to say hi to Brian Krista, who's in the house, dropping some gems about 13th Warrior, saying you should read the original Michael Crichton novel, Eaters of the Dead, based on Beowulf, the true story. Hail to Hex Island. Thanks for hanging out with us, brother.
Hail, hail. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, then I'm
Yeah,
welcome.
I'm just going to throw a quick plug since I did mention the watch along stream. I have the poll up for this week's episode. It's going to be streaming on my Indie Wrestling Matters channel. It's Pro Wrestling Movies Edition. So you're going to go and vote on that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be Wednesday
Vote.
at 10:50 p.m. Eastern. So come hang out with the boys. And they'll be streaming it over Sims Discord. If you don't have a copy, yeah, we're just hanging out, watching a movie, giving your thoughts on it. So
Nice.
There you go. Doing a little Thor here.
That's cool. Yeah, Thor it up, man. In my
I finished
universe,
that one.
Thor
This-
is dead. That looks good too, man. Nice. Sweet.
In my setting, it has it's sort of like all of ancient mythology is based on events that happened in Earth's even more ancient history, where like humanity was part of a alliance of empires out in space, but then they betrayed the other empires and were reduced to the Dark Ages, which is basically where human history begins as we know it. But the dwarves, their society is based on Norse mythology. They got these giant mech suits. They got like the Odin mech suit, the Thor mech suit, Baldur, Heimdall, and all that. And they're the version of frost giants. There, it's like a quadrupedal beast with like a long like snake like arm that it has like a spear at the end of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like, and they're like Valhalla for them is basically like a virtual battle world where they upload the minds of the dead.
That's clever. I like that. That's actually really cool sounding.
Yeah, so you're gonna you see one of the dwarves in issue 2, which I'll pull that out real quick.
yeah, hail to Magua, who's in the house. Thank you, brother, for hanging out with us today. Just some doodling and chilling from the boys. I'm here basically to keep the conversation moving and shouting out the chat. So
yeah, I'm doing the actual Thor here. So with a belly,
Sexy Thor.
like
Fat
big
Thor.
redhead, beer belly.
Lebowski Thor.
Yeah.
It's the Lebowski Thor. Lebowski. So I'm still doing this, kind of
Oh.
messing with.
Let me go on. Boom.
Nice.
Looking great.
Holding his Gurkha. Nice. I need a
for the-
cigarette, guys. I'm gonna take us outside. So sorry.
For Mugwai who just joined in, that was the first piece I did. Boom. Thor style. Superhero
Sexy.
landing.
Sexy Thor.
And
Superhero landing.
Let's go see Beacon.
Yeah. So this is one of the dwarves saying, he's just sort of like rushing ahead of everyone else, getting in on the action. Shouts victory or Valhalla.
Nice.
Yeah, he got this rocket axe. And then the next page,
Nice.
it's an orc skull. And that orc is Kino Subway there. So,
Nice. Somebody had to kill Chris.
yeah.
Yeah, we all do. And you know what's the worst? He pays us for it.
He pays us to do it. That's true. He did.
Yeah. When I offered the tier, I said, first person to back it gets their head split by a dwarf on a jetpack.
Get sexy time. Sorry. Okay. That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the ambient noise.
It's all good.
So,
This is how Thor should actually be, like being a fat beer belly ginger with a big hammer. But the hammer shouldn't be that big, because it's actually, that's why I'm doing it, because it's actually like yours, but it's one for hammering weapons as well. So the actual one should have been like you see in the Ultimate Edition. You have the front end, then you have the other end like this.
you're still on my screen.
Oh,
Dad bod Thor? Yeah, Dad bod Thor.
yeah. I mean, the actual hammer that Thor should have should be like one of those battle hammer, but that's also for what is it again? Blacksmith.
Right, a blacksmith.
So you actually have the
a
anvil type of
striking
shape.
hammer.
Yeah,
It's called a striking hammer.
and then you have the little pointy end on the other side.
Oh yeah.
But that's like the one they gave the Ultimate Thor in Marvel.
Right.
They went to get that one, yeah.
And just found one of my sketches of one of the dwarven neck suits.
But I'm also a big fan of Norse mythology. Let's go see Mister.
Yeah, I can't think of what actually. That thing is awesome. That's cool, man.
Yeah. So this is the Odin suit.
Do you know who Kieran Gillian is?
No.
Yeah, that
works- He works at Marvel now. Kieran Gillian, and he's the writer of Uber. Have you ever heard of a book called Uber?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Kenan White was the artist.
There you go. So you do know who he is. This reminds me of that, like his helmet with the little Valkyrie on there, or I mean the bird. Yeah, the phoenix.
Yeah.
That's dope. I dig it.
Yeah. So, I do have a Thor around here somewhere, but I'll have to dig for that.
Sexy Thor.
It's another mech suit. I sort of like designed them all to be like almost like a Viking style Gundam.
Nice.
So yeah.
I like you.
So how's your piece doing? Are you done too?
Yep.
Jesus.
Like we said in the title, we're both bringing down the hammer. Like, like if you look, it's an action. She's coming down, right? And then, boom! Fuck you.
Yeah,
You should,
superhero
you should,
landing.
you should add the sword.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, I like all the stuff coming off the ground. Like, that's good.
You should have it across her back if she's carrying it.
Are you using Photoshop? How'd you twist your whole canvas like that?
Photoshop does it, but that's Clip Studio. You leave your finger on rotate, and
Oh, okay.
let's do a little cleanup here. The illusion of the blade.
Typically don't ever rotate my canvas when I'm inking digitally. I just go in and out, and my screen is on a Lazy Susan, so I'm able to rotate the Lazy Susan.
Mm-hmm.
So I just do that.
No, they have it as an app in there. It's rotate. It's R.
Is it?
You leave your finger on it, then you let it go, then you're back to your regular tool.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. I can do that. That's cool. Learn something new every day.
Yep. How we get better every day. There you go. Here's a sword.
Yep. To Valhalla.
So now we actually have an animated scene. See? Boom. She's coming down. And badoosh.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We need a Hammer animated series done by the guy who did Aeon Flux.
Peter Chung.
Yeah, that would be the best. I'd be stoked.
So yeah, let's let me pull out your campaign one last time before we close this. Boosh.
Yeah. There is my campaign, Hammer. All
So
right.
you got a new backer? Or two?
We did. Thank you so much for backing, whoever you were. I love you.
Yeah, that's a campaign I can't wait. Like me, I backed it with Mr. Chris Evans.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So Chris got himself a Dragar, so I have to hook him up.
So go check it out, people. It's a great campaign. So
Thank you.
where can people find you and keep updates and?
So you can find me in a few different places. You can either find me on Facebook at Jason Alistair Crowley Krager, or you can find me at Twitter at Vonderabo J Krager Hammer Comic, or you can find me on YouTube at J Krager Hammer Comic, or you can find me on Instagram at Krager Jason. Just look up J Krager Art. Anywhere you can probably find me. So just find me. Find me. We'll get you some comics.
Support that book so we can get a number 2 as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. This is my first time out, as I said. Looking forward to doing this for the next year, giving you guys 10 issues in like 2 years or so, maybe longer. Just depending on campaigns and so on and so forth. So we'll work all out, and I want to make sure everybody's happy in the long run. So it becomes a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
And you, Mighty Beacon?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at the number 7 Legions Beacon, even though I am currently in the Twitter gulag. You can find me on YouTube at Michael Beacon. And we back 7 Legions. When you back 7 Legions, you get all this stuff here. You can add on a print pack, which includes this print, this print,
Hold on. Boom.
this print, and this print.
Wow.
Or you can add on a piece of 11 by 17 original concept art. So yeah.
Done by the Beak himself.
Yep, you can you can back all that. I will ship it out in the next couple of days because we are in demand, but we are also on demand. So
Nice. Nice.
And you, Edwin D. Ace Acevedo.
That's right. So you can always find me on Twitter at Edwin Aces. You can find me on my YouTube channel called Join Aces. You can find me on my other YouTube channel called Indie Wrestling Matters. Basically, I'm anywhere and everywhere streaming. But right now, the only thing that matters is that you please go and sign up for the Ace mailing list. The Ace is coming early 2021. Art by the amazing Ibai Canales. Sweens from Oddity, lots of other cool artists lined up. If you sign up and back the book, you'll get an exclusive trading card by the one and only Archsider. So yeah, go please check it out.
Yeah, and me, sub and like this channel. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway when we reach the 500th sub. So it's gonna be three sketch cards and a book. So spread the love, share the link, and go check out Tales of the Netverse. The most badass intergalactic men of action in comics. And I'll leave you with the trailer right now, and see you all next weekend.
peace.
Tales from the Netverse. This ongoing anthology collects short stories introducing characters within the Netverse and are all connected to the main series, Nat the Merc. This 64-plus page perfect bound anthology series collects short stories introducing Nat, Lawani, Rose, Zed, and other characters within the Netverse that you'll get to know and love in this prelude. This volume contains 2 previously published Nat stories, as well as the previously published Helena Rose stories, introducing you to those characters. In addition, you'll also be receiving 2 brand new stories by Simon Sim Haltier. Royal Rumble, colored by 7 Legions Michael Deacon. Also, Nat and Zed, colored by Spartan Scotsman of Xenotype. Arm up and fire off into the Netverse.